Welcome to Biztech's Technology Show. Today, we're going to take a look at the music industry and discuss some key trends being shaped by technology. Now, in today's show, we have Jasper Donat, CEO and co-founder of Branded. Branded partners with organizations to create, produce, and commercialize integrated online and offline media platforms. Now, welcome to the show, Jasper.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Jasper, tell us a little bit about Branded and your very interesting background.
I'm not sure it's an interesting background, but I've been in this part of the world. I'm in Singapore, just moved here from Hong Kong January last year, but I've been in Asia since 1995. That's over half my life. So Asia is home, and had a brilliant time here. Came here to work for Star TV back in the mid-90s for Star Sports. Moved to Channel V, the music channel, in the late 90s. Had an awful lot of fun doing that, and got paid every month to have fun, which was great. Set up my own company in 2001, so Branded, with absolutely no idea what we were doing, but we had a lot of contacts and a great network. So we were just kind of opening the door for a lot of people wanting to come to Asia, or introducing people within Asia to Asia. Doing a lot of events for other people. My business partner, Michael, at the time, Michael Denmark, and I then thought, well, we could do this ourselves. So we started organizing our own events, which was a very interesting process when you're new to it. And yeah, 20 years later, we tell everyone that we used to tell everyone we were an award-winning event company. That we haven't been able to do for the last 18 months or so. Campaign magazine just referred to us as a digital media company. Now, half of me is really proud of that because we've transformed the business from live events to being virtual. Half of me wants to jump off a cliff because I want to be an events company. So yeah, we were a live events company. Now we're a live media company.
Okay, tell us about this, because obviously COVID is the one that's impacted the live events industry significantly, but people like you have pivoted. Tell us about this transformation.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's event organizers and airline pilots are struggling still. We're still at the end of the chain, right? Look, there was depending on who you talk to, the event industry needed an almighty kick up the arse. I mean that as a type of donkey. It needed a boot up the bum, but by digital, because it was mostly analog, right? And yes. We can talk about sport being, when we talk about hybrid events, sport is hybrid. You have a live event and people watching TV, but most of the entertainment business or events business was strictly analog and live and being there for a reason. What we had been doing for many years is streaming live content. So there's not many companies in Asia that have done more live streamed events than Branded. We did a thing called the YouTube Fan Fest for many years, which we co-created with the guys at YouTube. I think we did 58, 59 live events all over the world, from Singapore to Jeddah to Toronto to Sao Paulo, but they were streamed live. So we'd always been we were always digitally savvy and tech savvy when it came to events and streaming. However, that was always around a live experience. Okay. So what happened with COVID was we had half the game done in terms of the technology, but the main bit got kind of taken away from us. So we weren't halfway up the hill needing to learn, but we were some way up it. But we had to transform really quickly. And look, no one's out of the woods yet, because I don't believe anyone in the events business has really nailed the virtual thing yet. However, we've done a lot of work, and we've had a lot of experience now in the last 2 years of creating virtual experiences, and whether that's for B2B kind of conference stuff, or whether that's B2C, working with consumer, fans, and fan engagement and stuff. We've done an awful lot and learnt a lot in the last 18 months.
And so here's the thing, with entertainment, not just live entertainment being affected, the whole industry in some ways has been decimated. Not only the one-off events or live events, but really the entertainment, whether it's clubs, whether it's pubs and so forth. How do you think that this large pool of people can reinvent themselves as we are slowly now reopening the industry?
Yeah, look, I don't know if it's about reinventing or if it's just collaborating. So the live, think of a live festival, a music festival. That experience for us will never be replicated online, because someone far cleverer than me from AEG last week said going to an event is like a Michelin star restaurant. Okay, yes, the food is at the heart of it, but it's everything else as well. So when you go to a festival, go to a music festival, go to a concert, you're with your mates, you're seeing your favorite band, you're drinking beer, maybe you're just having fun, and you're having an experience that you will talk about probably for a long time. Even getting to the festival and getting back to the festival is in and of itself an experience that you talk about forever. That does not get replicated by opening a laptop and watching a screen. Billie Eilish did a live show in August last year, and I got tickets for my daughter thinking I was going to be a cool dad. And her attitude was like, great, but I can watch this on YouTube anytime. It's not an experience. It's not the being there, right? So the live events industry, yes, has been decimated through this. But if you look around the world right now in countries that are opening up, the first thing that gets reported on is live events. That's the festivals are taking place. Sport. You look at the Premier League in the UK at the moment. Like every single game's like the FA Cup final, because everyone is just so relieved about being there. And the same with the festivals. I had Reading, Leeds, so many different festivals last weekend. It was the bank holiday weekend in the UK. Look at the US as well. Lots of big events happening as well. So the live event experience is going to come back because we all want to be there. I put a slight caveat, or two slight caveats in that. The first one is it has to be fun. So it's not fun, we ain't going, right? So if you go to see your favorite band and you're told you have to wear a face mask, you have to sit a meter away from your best mate, you're not allowed to drink, you can't stand up, you can't sing along, you can't clap.
Yes,
you ain't gonna go, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if you have to have a test beforehand, but if you can still have the fun, you're going to go. So that's the first insight. And I learned that from a guy called Mark Geiger last year, who owns Lollapalooza, one of the owners of Lollapalooza. And I said, when are we going back to Lollapalooza? And he said, when it's fun. If it's not fun, if it ain't fun, we ain't going. And that I get to. The second insight was, we're saying this about the live experience. We all want to be there, and it's being proven globally that live events are coming back and people want to be at them. I will caveat that with, except for maybe the Twitch generation. And if you look at 16 to 24-year-old, mostly boys, but latterly more and more girls, they're spending so much time in the metaverse. And the idea for them of getting off the sofa and having to go out and go through all the things that we thought were amazing is kind of an anathema to them, because they can just stay home with their headphones on and it's there on screen. So that's another, yeah.
That is an interesting point, because I wanted to ask you, COVID has changed consumption and production of music, hasn't it?
Correct. Yeah. So look, technology has basically influenced music for centuries. If you think that it started live with various instruments that changed, and then you had this thing called the gramophone, and then you had this thing called wireless radio, and then LPs, and then EPs, and then I'm going to get the order wrong, CDs, and then this thing called streaming, which was going to destroy the music industry. And now, of course, everyone's embraced it in the last 15 years. Now you have a thing called, now there's short form, I should add YouTube, video, MTV, YouTube, and now Twitch has created a whole new format, which is the number of creations that are made of your song. So there are artists releasing songs, and then kids are making 29-second videos in the tens of millions, recreating that song. So, I interviewed the head of music for TikTok last week. They're recording things in the trillions, not the billions, trillions. So technology is really always influences music and makes it really exciting. So you look at what's happening now. If I'm an artist in Singapore or in Malaysia or in Thailand or anywhere in the world, the tools that I have at my disposal are exactly the same as Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, any artist. I have exactly the same tools, and it's out there and it's free. My video can be seen by anyone in the world. That is exciting.
Now, what's also exciting, Jasper, is, and looking back at your background, is the convergence of not only music, but gaming and sports and entertainment. Can you kind of shed light into the convergence?
Yeah, look, I think when you're at a music festival, you're there for the music, but there's other stuff going on. Similarly, when if you're at a sports event, then there can be other stuff going on. When it's live, it's quite hard to converge them because you're there for that reason. It's nice to have entertainment at, the Hong Kong Sevens has phenomenal entertainment in between each games and stuff like that, but you're there for the rugby. But if you look at now what's going on in metaverse land, look at these concerts that are happening in Fortnite, in Roblox. That's where the fishermen are going fishing where the fishes are swimming. So they're not expecting the audiences to come to them. That's the old way. They're now going to where the audiences are. And Ariana Grande just did her show on in Fortnite, and there's shows happening every day in the metaverse. So that kind of convergence is interesting. Music and gaming is a really interesting convergence. Music and sport has been around forever. Sport and gaming is obvious. It isn't obvious. So I could tease an event that we're doing in October called Music. So it's called Gaming Matters, but we're doing gaming and sport, gaming and music, gaming and marketing.
And tell us about
where
that.
we're converging. Yeah, so we are announcing tomorrow morning that we're doing our first live event in 18 months in October, and it's Gaming Matters, and we're co-locating with Gamescom. It's the 15th and 16th of October. Very exciting for us to be back in a room. But rather than just doing an event about gaming, as I said, we're bringing the music industry together with the gaming industry. We're bringing the sports industry together with the gaming industry and the marketing industry, so advertisers, sponsors together with the gaming industry. We've been doing this for years under the brand name All That Matters, where we have we have music, sport, gaming, marketing, and digital media all together. We're just starting slowly, though. It's going to be just 1 or 2 day events. But yeah, bringing these industries together to talk about what's gone on. We've missed you for the last 2 years. What's been going on, and more importantly, where's the future? What's going to happen in the future, and what we're going to be doing in a year's time.
Now that's very fascinating, and I think one of the key things that, and you, as you said quite correctly, you got to go where people are fishing. And that's also the direction the corporations are looking at, because even brands like, even big multinationals like LVMH are going into things like Esports, because that's where the future consumers are coming from.
Correct. And it's not just, there's a popular misconception that esports is all boys. Now, there is a majority of gamers are boys, but you look at esports, but you look at gaming as an industry, not just esports. Esports is a small part of gaming, casual gaming. Women women are over half. Yeah, they're talking about 2 billion gamers worldwide, half of them women. So brands like Unilever, Coca-Cola, P&G, all these huge brands are getting involved in gaming, but they're not just getting involved in esports, they're getting involved in everything, because there are so many consumers there. And let's face it, at the moment, most of those consumers aren't allowed out or aren't allowed far. So that's why gaming has just gone on this huge, great big explosive growth over the last year and a half. It was already on a massive trajectory already.
Yes, because there's 400 million, if you talk about an ASEAN base, 400 million gamers, out of which 280 million are mobile gamers. It's a phenomenal number.
And half of them are women. before anyone thinks that it's a bunch of teenage boys jacked up on Red Bull in their bedrooms. It's not. It's you, it's me, it's our wives, it's our kids, it's everyone. But saying that, I still think Pac-Man's pretty cool.
So do I, and I'm from that generation. But overall now, where do you see, what is your view on the entertainment and music ecosystem in Asia moving forward?
I think it's interesting. I mentioned collaborating. These various verticals need to collaborate. So a hybrid event, everyone's talking about hybrid events. So like doing a conference and having it streamed digitally. So we're testing that at the moment. We've done lots of virtual events and we've done lots of live events. Now, will someone tune in to watch a live conference that they're not at? We don't know. So we're going to find out about that. I personally, I believe that live sits, it's complemented by digital for most things, except for live sport, right? Or except for massive concerts. If you're talking about the Olympics, if you're talking about the FA Cup final, you talk about Premier League, you're talking about Ariana Grande, people will tune in for that live. But will I tune in for a conference? Will I tune in for a normal concert live? I don't know. However, if I've got digital leading up to that live experience, then I have that live experience with all my friends, all my business connections.
Yeah. And
then I have that digital experience after. That is what I see as hybrid. Hybrid means it's the elongation, is that word? The lengthening of a life cycle of an event, going from a 1 day or a 1 night concert to a 6 month experience. So no, I think live still matters, as I said before, certainly to the millennial and millennial plus generation, and still to Gen Z as well. I think the metaverse is going to become more and more exciting. Facebook are talking about doing meetings. You've got to have your Oculus and stuff, but I think that's going to happen more. I think crypto is getting quite interesting for the entertainment business, albeit it's still a little faddish.
Is that from an NFT perspective?
A lot of people are talking NFTs, there's NFT sponsorship going on, people buying NFTs around music, around art. We've done a lot of sessions, online sessions. We did one in our music academy last week about NFTs. And actually, the NFT or crypto session has done more views than any other of the views of the sessions we produced last week. Because it's interesting. People really want to understand what's going on with NFTs. I don't think anyone has quite answered the question: is it a fad, or is it for real? Personally, I think it will be for real, but right now it is a bit of a fad. But it's certainly exciting, and the theory of being able to own everything around your content forever, or be able to program the various bits that you want to own forever. That's interesting.
That's very appealing to a lot of people as well.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's disrupting, right? And so yeah, I think live is exciting. I think hybrid is exciting. I think crypto is going to play much more of a hand.
Now, Jasper, one of the things I need to ask you also is this: it's about monetization. Now, monetizing. So you talked about live events. That's an easy monetization discussion. But how have revenues overall impacted as we've gone, in your opinion, as we go to fully virtual events as well as hybrid events?
Good question. I mean, so yes, when you buy a physical ticket to go to a physical event, you get physical value. If I'm going to a conference and I walk out with that many business cards, that's my ROI, right? And it's worth me paying. Virtual events, it's harder to get people to pay to attend virtual events because you're not meeting people in the same way. And an online meeting is not the same as a physical meeting. Now, I could be meeting more people. I could be meeting a broader scope of people from more places that wouldn't necessarily fly to meet an event. So the business model for events, virtual events, is different from live events. Now, saying that, when you're producing a virtual event, you're not booking a stadium, you're not building a stage, You're not putting all the LEDs in the world up and all the AV in and stuff. You're not taking a massive risk on ticketing and all that kind of stuff. So the costs are less. It's more heavy lifting. It takes more effort to produce a virtual event than a live event. When you do a live conference, there's a nice little person standing backstage who hands you a microphone. You walk out on stage and everything's there. Lights are on, cameras are working, the back straight, boom, you can focus. When you're producing a virtual event, you're doing what you're doing now, which is like kind of, okay, what's the time? I've got to look at the camera. I've got to,
yeah.
Where's my next, and it's really difficult, right? So, but then you have a team of people who are sound testing and all this kind of stuff. And it's a lot more heavy lifting. So the costs are lower, but the overhead is higher, and efforts. And the other thing I've also said is that I really miss croissants. When you do events in hotels, you get loads of beautiful fresh baked croissants, and I haven't had one for ages. And I really miss lanyards. So I'm looking forward to getting a lanyard around my neck again in October at Gaming Matters here in Singapore.
Plug there.
Another plug. I've got 30 years worth of lanyards all over the floor and in here and stuff. And you can. It's a way of connecting and stuff.
It's been a fascinating conversation, but what would you like to leave us as your final thoughts before we end this conversation?
I think I've probably said it all. I am very excited about what's happening in the metaverse, and I do think that this wonderful merging convergence of the entertainment industries, where rather than shooting a live concert at Wembley Stadium or at the Singapore National, whatever, it's like I say, going where the fishes are swimming in an environment that they're happy with. So that, I think, is going to get really, really exciting. So yeah, watch this space on the metaverse.
Then Jasper, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
Oh, it's great to see you. I look forward to seeing you out on your bike.
Yep, thank you very much. We've been speaking to Jasper Donat, the CEO and co-founder of Branded. And I'm Brian Fernandez on Biztech's Technology Show. This interview will be on our Facebook and LinkedIn sites, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thanks again for tuning in.